How's it going, everybody? This is Novakast, back with another video. And recently in one of our podcasts, we talked about the Keemstar, Ethan Klein, Trisha Paytas drama, where Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein, on their own separate platforms, were calling out Keemstar for dating a 20-year-old. A 20-year-old woman. And recently, or at least when it comes down to it, I have not checked out Trisha Paytas' video, because every time I hear that person's name, I just, die a little bit inside every time. So in this situation, I'm going, or at least this video, or at least before this video, I should say, I went ahead and watched her video. Fucking hell. I'm not ready for this. And before I start, I need to mention something, because I know that everybody's kind of on an uproar due to the whole drama thing. First of all, everybody is, allowed to have their opinions on this situation. But just to start us off, because I know some people will be mad with what I say, and we talked about this before, so you guys know my stance already. When it comes down to it, the person in question, they're 20 years old. Age of consent, and as well as the age that a person becomes an adult, classified, is 18. And as they are being, a 20-year-old, they are allowed to make their own decisions. Now, I know that there's this research, I'm using quotes by the way, that says that apparently the brain, isn't fully developed at 25, which I wish somebody will, make reference to that, or leave a link for that, because I'm kind of curious about that, that whole research, I should say. But the fact remains, by 18, they are legally classified as an adult. More so 2 years later when they're 20 years old. So in that regard, they're allowed to make their own decisions. That being said, let's talk about this video from Trisha Paytas. Now, I guess afterwards she made a show called Enemies, which apparently to me seems like a ripoff of the whole channel or whole podcast Frenemies, which, not to harp on it, but come on, you couldn't really come up with an actual genuine idea, or genuine original idea for a name for a video or video series? I mean, really? I mean, sure, it's hard, but if you really think about it, then you could actually come up with an actual original name. But not to insult Trisha Paytas' intelligence, but anyway, let's talk about the video, because that's what we're here for, talking about the video. Besides harping on, again, the unoriginal name that was lazily made up for this series. Now, for the video itself, I'm going to only talk about, just so you guys know, I'm only going to talk about the segment involving Keemstar and, that situation. And to be perfectly honest, I really cannot, it's difficult to, kind of stay focused when all you're, it's like, oh my gosh, Keemstar did this, and this Keemstar did that. It just, that kind of talking, it just bugs the fuck out of me. I'm sorry. I hate to be mean. Who am I kidding? I am fucking mean. But at the same time, at this point, especially when it comes to videos and talking and really responding to people, sometimes you have to be an ass. You know what I mean? Look at Keemstar. Look at Ethan Klein. Well, Ethan Klein's a fucking coward. But either way, it's just hard to listen to this individual for the segment where she's talking about, or any of the segments where she talks about shit. Because it's about Keemstar, Face Banks, Anna Campbell, BuzzFeed, etc. It's just, the way she talks is so freaking cringe. And when she finally, like, talks about the whole situation, it's hypocritical. Considering, you know, with her talking, you know, poorly about Keemstar, you know, to some degree, kind of making it seem like that he is in the wrong, regardless, even though, you know, in the situation, regardless, I mean, at this point, I almost said regardless of age, but no, what I mean is disregarding the fact that, you know, both Keemstar and the girl he was dating are both, you know, adults that can consent to dating each other. She doesn't want to acknowledge that. In fact, doesn't realize how hypocritical she is talking about this shit, considering that in, you know, interviews with, you know, Ethan Klein, she talks about, you know, how she was dating people that were, you know, close to, was it 20, 21? Which, if I remember correctly, wasn't she claiming, like, in this whole series of this video, trying to make the argument that people are underdeveloped, under 25 years old, and yet she's going around, you know, talking to people that are, you know, 20, 21. Like, here's the quick clip, just so you guys can see.
I had to look up his age before I even responded. I was like, let me just make sure this guy's like 18, because Moses said that. He's like, how old is he? I'm like, you know what, let's look this up.
How old is he, 21?
He's 21, yeah. At 21, is like legal enough, you know.
Which, by the way, you even point out yourself that in that clip that it's okay to date somebody around that time, that kind of, you know, time frame of, you know, age. So, hold on. If the person's, in your eyes, if the person's not 25 where they aren't fully developed, then why are you talking to somebody who is 20 or 21? I know I keep saying 20 or 21. It's just 21. But again, it's just hypocritical. Which, by the way, to add on to that, this person tries to, or at least, you know, Trisha Paytas, tries to make the assumption, like the accusation that Keemstar will cause this individual trauma. Now, you guys know I'm not a fan of Keemstar, and it's weird for me that I'm defending him on this. But in some sense, you can't just assume of somebody's actions, especially assume how other people feel. It's like how we talk about with other people in, you know, the commentary community, or, you know, if anything, other content creators that try to lump other people's experiences with their own. You can't do that. And I say, if for those who are wondering why I'm saying that, lumping their experiences with their own, because apparently Trisha Paytas has, yeah, quite a bit of stuff happen in her own life. So in this instance, she is trying to, you know, make it seem relatable, or if anything, how should I put this? What would be the best way to put it? I guess kind of reflecting her experiences onto this girl, or this woman, I should say. She's 20. She's a woman. And honestly, that is not okay. That's not healthy. That is not a good way to think about this. It really isn't. Now again, and at this point, if they're happy, just to end it, because I don't want to spend too much time on this topic, but if Keemstar and this person is happy, okay. And at this point, and believe me when I say this, I myself would not be the kind of person that would, you know, date somebody who's, you know, 10, 20 years younger than myself. But at the same time, they're both consenting adults. They're allowed to do whatever they want. Just like Trisha Paytas, in her life, has done whatever the fuck she wants. And as well as, you know, other individuals like Ethan Klein and a variety of other people on this platform. They have made their own choices that have either made them or broke them. So, in this situation, I guess, if anything, yeah, just to kind of sum it up, it's, I guess, if anything, it is really, I mean, even though they are public figures, it is none of our business. By the end of the day, they are both, Keemstar and this woman, are both consenting adults, regardless of what the age gap is. And honestly, at this point, and especially with the whole situation, it's odd to hear it from Trisha Paytas. And kind of weird. Because honestly, when it comes to this situation, I don't want to hear this from an individual who is as disturbing as Trisha Paytas. I think I said it best in the podcast. It's weird to hear this from an individual who thought that, you know, dousing themselves in fake cum would be beneficial for themselves. Again, this is coming from an individual who, like every other video, is talking about sex products. An individual who was mentioned by Keemstar and a variety of other content creators as an individual who is into certain activities way too much, apparently. So, I think, if anything, this person probably should not be discussing this. Or, if anything, have a little bit more logic and not think through hatred. Because we all know that you, or Trisha Paytas, we all know that you hate Keemstar. Just like Ethan Klein hates Keemstar. And at this point, especially with, you know, trying to start drama, probably best not to let your emotions get the best of you. Because then it makes you look really ignorant and stupid. But anyway, that's just me. Now, what are you guys' thoughts? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I know some people won't agree with me. That's fine. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below. As well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care, and peace.